Hello, everybody, and welcome to Non Sequitur News for June 19th, 2025. It's another Time Machine episode, just in time for me to fall behind, I guess. I am MayorWatt. I run ohmTown.com. That's that site right there. It's a news aggregation site. Gathers up all kinds of information for me to manage my information overload. And 3 years and 6 months ago, I made it public for everybody else. So you can sign up or sign in. Today we're going to be talking about Dune Awakening PvPvE, Google blinded by solar company, super premium Spotify, ambitious live sports festival, Asian needle ant, snap grab, AI residencies, 16 billion logins exposed, but I have a caveat on that, a space elevator on Ceres, and a fly factory in Texas. Tejas. All right, everybody, let's get into it. It is a Time Machine episode. The Sentient AI isn't available. The visualizer is running, but they are disconnected from the Time Machine at the moment. It's okay. We can do the show still. This next article, or the first article for today, is over on WarCrafters. Dune Awakening AMA promises changes coming to PvP. Quote, "We want the experience to be reliable, responsive, and clearly understood." So Dune Awakening is a hit. I've been watching Carnage actually play this. And along with Bald Zebra and Dunkstar and Timeless_exe and everybody except myself. I basically put them on lurk and I watch and listen while I'm working. But that's okay. I'll get to it eventually. PvP in the deep desert is a particular issue for an awful lot of players based on Reddit complaints, and you better believe that questions about Funcom's plans for it came up during an AMA that was held yesterday on Reddit. There's little in the way of concrete information at this point, sorry to say, as Funcom is still trying to figure out what the hell. The article is put together by Andy Chalk over at PCGamer.com. Funcom is still nailing down the details, but developers in the AMA did commit to one thing. There's no plan to defang ornithopters in the deep desert. I guess people are losing their mind because of the ornithopters. Carnage just lost his, I think some combat ornithopter. I'm not sure what level it was, but anyway, either going to remake it or hunt it down somewhere in the deep desert. So one thing that Funcom is not considering, according to the creative director, Joel Bylos, is that the deep desert zone's restricted to ground combat. Developers recently patched out the ability of ornithopters to Goomba stomp players on the ground, although in kind of a, they say, half-assed way. But even without the goofy exploit, air power still dominates as PC gamer Lisan Al-Gaib, PC gamer's own Lisan Al-Gaib, Chris Livingston, recently wrote about Dune Awakening's PvP combat. Quote, "In most fights, it's just pilots trading missiles with each other in the air instead of engaging in the surface with swords, shields, and skills." Yeah, they'll balance it out. People find ways to exploit things and don't necessarily run across somebody sitting there just landing their plane, their ornithopter on somebody or dropping missiles. I don't remember missiles in Dune because everybody has a shield and only a slow object can pierce the Holtzman shield. Anyway, pretty cool. I actually love the world building around Dune Awakening, and I've been caught off guard by some of the pivots. And just when I wanted something to actually happen involving a particular house and a particular planet and a particular plot line from the series, that's exactly what happened. So I actually love Dune Awakening. If only I could get some time to play it But it's so hyper focused on just desert. Everything's brown and purple. It's not going to be my forever game, but I really want a forever game. Let's keep going. The next article is over in Non Sequitur News. Oh, and if you're on Twitch, you can actually get all of the show notes by hitting !NSN, and then ohmTown will spit the articles out into the chat. Over on YouTube, they're already embedded in the show notes, so you can check them out over there. So, solar company is suing Google for giving damaging information in AI overviews. A solar company in Minnesota is suing Google for defamation after the tech giant's shoddy AI overviews feature. It is a feature. Allegedly made up wild lies about the company and significantly hurt its business as a result. The lawsuit is not just about defending our company's reputation, it's about standing up for fairness, truth, and accountability in the age of artificial intelligence, says Nicholas Kasperwitz, general counsel for the solar company Wolf River Electric. First filed in the state court in March, the lawsuit was transferred to federal court this week after Google filed for a removal, the Minnesota Star Tribune reported. The article is called The Pants on Fire. It's in the Pants on Fire section of Futurism by Frank Landemore. The deck statement says, when an AI hallucination becomes defamation, well, it's not a hallucination, it's a fabrication, it's a lie, and it needs to be corrected post haste. But how many people saw that and decided not to go with this company? First filed in the state. It was removed by, it was transferred over to federal court this week after Google filed for a removal, according to the Minnesota Star Tribune. See how that people are talking about it in different places, different ways. And so y'all share information. So they're talking about Minnesota Star Tribune talking about this and Politico talking about this. This might be one of the first cases where we actually get to see how the courts are going to really dig down and apply the basic principles of defamation law to AI. Ari Cohn, lead counsel for tech policy at the Foundation for Individual Rights in Education, or FIRE. Anyway, Google denied defamation allegations and Citizens United screwed everything up, folks. Let's keep moving. The next article is over on the Wanted channel. Super premium Spotify may finally be a reality after 4 years. I'm considering subscribing to this. I like lossless audio just in case I've got quality product like on my head or I'm listening via speakers. The only problem is unless it's all wired, there's always compression. So the moment that you move away from a wire, there's compression. So it ends up being lossy, not lossless. Anyway, lossless audio support for Spotify has always seemed a distant dream. In 2021, they announced Spotify Hi-Fi, which was supposed to be lossless audio. But 4 years later, in 2025, it's nowhere to be seen. However, there are a few signs that it might actually be coming. The article might be coming. Yes, not might be becoming. Anyway. Pocket-lint.com put this article together. Craig Donaldson put it together, actually, and it says new leaks give fresh hope that Spotify's lossless audio tier is coming soon. A user on Threads posted a line of string from Spotify's app that reads lossless music now in premium, introducing the best audio quality on Spotify for music up to 24-bit and 44.1 kilohertz. Leaked images from Spotify's PC app shows lossless audio support have also surfaced. So yay. So the premium plan is $12 a month. I don't know what the plus is going to be though. Very high, 320 kilobits. A Redditor was able to enable lossless audio on the Spotify PC app, latest Spotify PC update, actually. Another leak suggests that even more hope for the lossless audio tier is coming because Reddit user OK Improvement 5956, which reads more like AI than your standard username, but it doesn't mean anything anyway, I guess. They posted an image of lossless audio available on the Spotify app for PC, but only after using a .bat file, a script that runs code to enable them. It doesn't run code, it runs scripts. It runs a line by line. Anyway, to enable them. The Redditor claims that they were able to get lossless audio to work for only a maximum of 3 seconds before being cut off by the server. So it didn't really, that's like the handshake. If the images the Redditor posted are authentic, which you can see above, follow the link. I guess we're going to have it right around the corner. 24-bit, 44.1 kilohertz FLAC files. So it says it can consume up to 1 gigabyte, capital B, big byte, of data per hour of playback. This backs up what was posted on Threads. So there you go, folks. We might have lossless Spotify. I don't think it makes much sense, but anyway. Not unless you're wired. Again, the moment you start listening to wireless, lossless, it becomes lossy. It just does. It doesn't reconstitute it exactly. Not audio. The data set is too big, I think. Anyway, the next article is over in the Hatch Ideas channel. Why the sports festival might be the most ambitious live event in America. The article is by Leo Zevin, edited by Micah Zimmerman over at entrepreneur.com. Fanatics Fest is going to be a blend of sports, culture, and entertainment into an immersive, fan-first live event experience. CEO Lance Fensterman aims to build cross-sport communities and unforgettable moments that transcend tribal loyalty. Well, that's not how it works, but okay. Compared to a digital marketing campaign, each live events may reach fewer people, says Fanatics Events CEO Lance Fensterman. But digital is shallow. It's a quick scroll and move on. Live events are deep and immersive. They allow you to truly interact with fans and give them experiences they'll never forget. Fensterman put that philosophy into action this year at Fanatics, leading to the launch of Fanatics Fest New York City 2024, a 3-day festival that blends culture, sports, culture, and entertainment into a one in-person experience. The inaugural event drew over 70,000 attendees last summer, so here we are again. This weekend, Fanatics Fest returns to the Javits Center with Fensterman at the helm once again, bringing together more than 500 athletes, celebrities, artists, including Tom Brady, LeBron James, Travis Scott, Kevin Hart, from June 20th to the 22nd. So it's starting right now. It's supposed to focus on the fans. Fans are tribal, Fensterman says. They group around specific teams or leagues, typically around each other because they have a particular affinity. When you look at other sports events, they're largely organized by team or sport. We've tried to zoom out and show where people that there's an entire world where sports, entertainment, and culture intersect regardless of tribe. Yeah, but you have to not be tribal. And you should probably not have a parasocial relationship with a football team, but hey, I'm not a fan of anything. All right, let's keep going. The next article is over on the mobile channel. Asian needle ant. It's venomous, invasive, and might be in your backyard. Take a look at this beastie. Hunter Boyce put the article together, was edited by Sadie Harley and reviewed by Andrew Zenin. Asian needle ant. It's venomous, invasive, and might be in your backyard. So the ant is nothing new to Georgia. According to the University of Georgia Orkin professor of urban entomology, Dan Suter, it's been in the United States for roughly 100 years. However, late summer marks their most active time of the year, and it's a medical pest capable of causing significant harm that's largely unknown to Georgia residents. Yep, it's going to be pretty bad. So there are Asian needle ants in Georgia. Yes. Luckily, they're not allergic. This person is not allergic to the insects which frequent the Griffin area backyard. The invasive ants are most active during July and August and are most difficult to spot than other black ants. They don't build mounds or follow each other in neat lines like the prevalent Argentine ant. They're not real in your face, says one person. They live in hardwood areas where you have lots of leaf litter. They get in logs and they hunker down because of the vibration. So don't get stung. Well, don't stick your hand in nature. Okay, this next article is over in the continuity report. Snap and Grab is like a heisting Hitman game. Snap and Grab is a new puzzle game that feels like a Hitman series with a heisting twist. The title comes from the developer No Goblin, which previously produced Roundabout, and publisher Annapurna Interactive. The author of this article sat down with the game for a 30-minute demo during this year's Summer Game Fest and was very impressed. So what is it called? Snap and Grab, right? Let's find out if it's still available. Snap and Grab. There it is. So it just says add to your wish list. So it's not on demo anymore. Damn it. All right. So they sat down and they played the game. They were impressed with the game's fun, vibrant aesthetic, sense of silliness, and overall versatility in terms of player plotting each crime. Done, done, done. The next article is over in Screen Rant. Snap and Grab is a heisting hitman game published by Annapurna, and it stole the author's heart at Summer Game Fest. Devin McClure put the article together. Snap and Grab, like giving Hitman 47 a camera, players have myriad of viable options for each crime. The demo consisted of 2 different thefts at the same party, one in the New York City loft of the insufferable pretentious artist Eric Pop, featuring his beloved skull sculpture, and a giant key held within the ice statue. Each instance of delightful grand larceny consists of 3 steps: snap, plan, and grab. Snapping is the research phase, where Nifty will survey the scene, determine potential obstacles, and in the end, their solutions. Maybe. So, seems like it might be fun for a little while. Let's keep going. The next article is over in Non Sequitur News. AI residencies are trying to change the conversation around artificial art. At a recent exhibition in Copenhagen, visitors stepped into a dark room where they were met by an unusual host, a jaguar that watched the crowd, selected individuals, and began to share stories about their daughter, her rainforest, and the fires that once threatened her home, the Bolivian Amazon. Dun, dun, dun. The live interaction with Huck, an AI-driven creature, is tailored to each visitor based on visual cues. Bolivian-Australian artist Violeta Ayala created the piece during an arts residency, one of the world's leading AI research centers. That's cute. Let's keep going. The next article is over in The Verge. And AI residencies are I keep skipping over the fact that I need to just move on to the next, or to the source. Dina Musa over at The Verge put that article together about AI residencies are trying to change the conversation about artificial art. The residency deck statement says the residencies aren't choosing sides, but they could still shift about the public views of AI. What is it called? There is a show on Twitch that talks about music, and they were talking about AI today, and I'm like, well, I think AI is nothing more than a tool, and It's not duplicating anybody's work. It's basically like a synthetic artist that is learning from everybody else, and then with guidance, something is made. And I really don't have any issues with it. And I am a former artist. I switched to technology a long time ago. But Dina Musa put the article together. At a recent exhibition in Copenhagen, visitors stepped into a dark room and were met by an unusual host, that Jaguar. So Bolivian-Australian artist Violeta Ayala created the piece during an art residency in Mila, one of the world's leading AI research centers. These residencies, usually hosted by tech labs, museums, or academic centers, offer artists access to tools, compute, and collaborators to support creative experimentation with AI. Quote, "My goal was to build a robot that could represent something more than human, something incorruptible, but I don't think that's how it works." But the whole idea here, it's a kind of cultural framing, is meant to promote artistic production, but it can also influence how AI is viewed by the public, pushing back on the often negative perception around AI art. Quote, "An AI developer might want to change minds about what's legitimate by packaging the use of AI in a form that resembles traditional artistic practice," says Tristan Goetz, an ethicist and director at Cornell University. Quote, "That could make it seem more acceptable." Yeah, and culture slowly adapts and accepts. Unless it's horrible. If it's a horrible cultural shift, then you're going to end up not accepting it. But anyway, the next article is over in Smack Talk, and that's because it's talking about computing technology. A staggering 16 billion logins exposed in epic data breach, including Apple accounts, apparently. Security researchers have discovered that what they describe as the largest data breaches, one of the largest data breaches in history, comprising a staggering 16 billion logins, which include Apple accounts formerly known as Apple IDs. The researchers said that the stolen data gives cyber criminals unprecedented access to personal credentials that could be used to attack accounts, takeover, identity theft, and highly targeted phishing. Ben Lovejoy over at 9to5mac.com put the article together. So I don't know if it has, the IDs don't mean much, but them by themselves don't mean much. But lockouts, if your account suddenly gets locked out, you'll know why. You rose in prominence into somebody's radar, and they're like, oh, let's see if your account exists at this bad link. So they say here, so far they've discovered 30 exposed data sets containing from tens of millions to over 3.5 billion records each. Basically, somebody went on a spree of stealing usernames. I don't know if there's passwords in this data set, though. All right, let's keep going, then. The next article is over on the Mobile Channel. Using a space elevator to get water off of Ceres. We might not currently have any technology that would make a space elevator viable on Earth, but that doesn't mean it wouldn't work on other bodies around the solar system. One of the most entertaining places, or interesting places, that one could work is around Ceres, the queen of the asteroid belt. Potentially one of the biggest sources of resources for humanity's expansion into space. The article is over at phys.org by Andy Tomowitz from Universe Today. It's edited by Lisa Locke and reviewed by Robert Egan. This is pretty cool. Just looking at it, it makes it almost feel like it's slowly pivoting. Well, anyway, a new paper from researchers at the University of Colorado Springs, and industrial CNT, a manufacturing plant of carbon nanotubes, one potential material for the space elevator details just how useful such an elevator would be. One of the most interesting facts about Ceres is that, according to the data received by Duncan Minecraft, what? Their name is Duncan Minecraft? Well, anyway. The interesting things by the Dawn spacecraft is that it's made up of around 25% water, and water's not useful just for us here on Earth. It's useful all over the place. Water is useful not only for the fact that it is required for life, but also because it can be used as a fuel for propulsion systems. Some test satellites just used water itself as the whole propulsion system. There's a lot more in this article. Go over to phys.org and check it out. The next article, and our last one for today, is over on the Model Channel. The U.S. plans to open a fly factory in Texas as part of its new flight testing a flesh-eating parasite. Okay. The U.S. government plans to open what it amounts to a fly factory at the end of the year, according to intense basically activity, I guess. Yeah. So they plan to breed millions of these flies in Texas through the border with, do they have tiny little border cards? Beep, 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 beep. Probably not. Anyway, that's it, folks. That has been Non Sequitur News for June 19th, 2025. I am MayorWatt, and I'm getting out of here eventually, like right now. Bye.